Sam Rayburn and Toledo Bend, arguably two of the best bass fishing lakes in the nation. If you were to sit around a campfire, a bait shop, or at a fishing event and talk about top bass fishing locations, there's no question those bodies of waters would come up on everybody's go-to list. For me, I've been fortunate that I've been able to fish both of these bodies of waters for quite some time, and they're places that I absolutely love to go. Why? Because they're plumb full of largemouth bass, and they also provide constantly changing challenges for anglers. I can remember going over there a couple decades ago and catching them up in seeny beanie bushes, as we called them, and then going back and those same bushes being dry 20 feet away from the shore, from the water line, and immediately going, wow, I've got to adjust. And that's one thing about both those bodies of waters, you always have to adjust because they're constantly going up and down. One year there may be a lot of hydrilla on one of these bodies of water, and the next year you can't even find a blade of that grass anywhere. So from a bass fishing standpoint and a tournament fisherman's delight, these are two destinations you always want to go fish because they're going to challenge you every time you go there to be able to figure them out. But one thing you always know, there's a lot of bass that swim in both of those bodies of water. We're going to launch the boat on Toledo Bend real quick, set the stage. It's very cold outside. Water temperatures are way before the spawn. The fish, they're just coming out of their wintertime haunts. In fact, some of them are probably still that deep. What we're going to be doing is going just outside of the Cypress Brim Marina, fishing around that area. That area, the middle part of the lake on Toledo Bend, is well known for lots of ridges, lots of drop-offs, and also known for a lot of bass fishing tournaments that are held there. So you're often fishing for fish that are recently released. Let's see if I can't figure out how to catch just a few on this quick fishing trip to Toledo Bend. Not very big. Another fish. Nice little bass. God. Down there, buddy. Little Kentucky. Little Kentucky, man. He knocked the fire out of it. Little Kentucky bass. His belly's bigger than his mouth. That's fun. Never gets old. I love the color of those big old spots like that, that round belly. He's probably down there saying, I need more shad. You know, we're just going down a drop-off, basically, along the ledge going into the river channel. I mean, that's where probably 80% of the bass tournaments on Toledo Bend come out of right there, and a lot of fish are released here, and there's so many little ridges and humps out here. It's a great place to isle around, graph around, and find fish and catch them, obviously. We're just looking for schools of bait now, and every now and then we're finding some. It's not like we're finding a lot of bait or a lot of bass right now, but when we do, they want to bite despite this high blue bird. And I mean, you never see Toledo Bend this flat. Electronics play a huge role in dissecting lakes like Toledo Bend. I can remember one of my first trips over there. I was so overwhelmed. I didn't even know, I didn't have maps of the boat lanes to be able to figure out, much less to be able to understand what's below the water. Today, when you can look at the mapping that's on these lakes, you can quickly dissect and get yourself into positions that you're going to be more successful. So whether you're trying to learn the whole lake or one specific creek, mapping is going to be a big key in you being able to determine where to go fish and how to navigate there. Fish. Better one. Same size. Another Carolina rig spot. You know, I've got a waypoint out there now on all three of these fish that we caught on the Carolina rig. They've all been about the same size, and they've all came out of the same little stretch there. And you can kind of see it when you look at it on the electronics. I've got the yellow, which is going to be my 10-foot range right there to get me up on top of that ridge, and I'm just dragging along that drop off, and you can see the drop offs with all the depth shading and the lines on both sides of it coming around it. And these fish are probably just moving up there to feed on bait fish, and the Carolina rig just dragging along the top. They're just loading up on it. You know, soft plastic baits are a go-to in this type of situation. A Carolina rig, a Texas rig, drop shot, a lot of those types of situations, you can basically mix and match a lot of different baits to find success. For me, I've always liked a fry style bait. The Big Bite Baits coontail worm is one that I really like to use in a lot of these situations. It's got lots of ribs on it, comes in a size that I think is gonna help you both catch big fish as well as get numbers of bites. So when I start looking at a bait, that's a bait that I've got a lot of confidence confidence in, which makes it easy for me when I first start fishing to be able to throw it. So when I start looking at how I'm gonna catch fish, I almost always at least, go to a bait that I've got a lot of confidence in. Oh, Carolina rig fish. Not a very big one. You know, the Carolina rig. Whoop. Come back here. Yeah, the Carolina rig, such a deadly technique to cover a lot of water with. You know, you take the big 1/2 ounce or 1 ounce weight and you put it up top like that right there, bead and a swivel in a leader based on the conditions, and you can cover a lot of water with it. And it's a way that a lot of people, you know, fish soft plastics. And when you start talking about, you know, sensitivity and feeling what's going on, there's no doubt that a Carolina rig transmits a lot of data up to your hands. You know, anytime you can get out on the water for a few hours and catch a 6 bass of different sizes, it's a great trip. And when you start looking at every trip you can go on, you're always learning, you're always evolving. Sure, I looked at a lot of my past history, knew some of the general areas that I was fishing, but also threw a lot of my confidence baits out there while I was trying to dial in a specific area. When I went back and really looked at my GPS lines, most of the bites I had right outside of the Cypress Brim Marina area were on a place that I had actually probably fished 15 years ago in a tournament right there. I knew the general area, had to find where the hard spots were for that particular day, had to find where the bass were holding on that met that water level, and caught a few fish. To me, that's a great, successful fishing trip.
When we return from break, Wade discusses one of his favorite bodies of water, Sam Rayburn Reservoir. Stay tuned for more Fisherman's Handbook.
It's in our stomping grounds and our playground. It's in our sights and our commitment. It's in him, it was in them, and it will continue with her. It's in my nature. Is it in yours?
Quiet, you sons of fishes! Now, what?
I'm switching sonar.
Why?
Because now I can see fish swimming live in front of my boat. I even see fish attack my lure. Y'all's sonar's just history. I'm out.
I'm with him.
The Fisherman's Handbook is brought to you in part by Cabela's, it's in your nature. Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. And Yamaha Marine, reliability starts here.
And when you start looking at Sam Rayburn Reservoir, I don't think in the history of bass fishing you can find a lake that has withstood the test of time like Rayburn has. When you start flipping back into annals of bass fishing tournament history, this is a lake that every major series and minor series regionally has stopped at one time or other. And when you look at the who's who has won there, it's some incredible bass fishing names. And when you look at the styles that they've caught their fish in over the decades of fishing tournaments there, you're gonna find a wide range of fishing styles and techniques that have proven and paid off based on the water level and the time of the year. Sam Rayburn is one of those bodies of water when it's cold and high or low and flooded or whatever it may be, that's gonna challenge you as an angler to try to figure them out. And for me, figuring out the puzzle is always something that I love to do. It doesn't take much to see what we've got here. You can see what I call the hay grass, and that's gonna come out a pretty good ways out because the lake has come up and that grows all summer long. And depending on the ebb and flow, sometimes you'll see that water way back up in the pines on this lake, and right now it's kind of in between. It's not enough water in the buck brush. You're gonna have that hay grass coming out. There'll be some inside grass lines. Who knows what else is out here. I haven't been in this area of the lake in probably 10 years. So this really looks good to me, Bill. A lot of good stuff to fish. We can fish here. The wind's gonna be comfortable. The fish are probably wanting to get back. We just gotta figure out what kind of cricket they wanna bite on. You know, in the wintertime, I've always found that there's a small window, I feel like, when the fish really feed. And it could be tied to the mid-afternoon warm-ups, it could be tied to weather changes, cloud cover, whatever it may be. And oftentimes I found in the winter, you're dealing with high pressure. You're dealing with those clear bluebird skies out there. And I've always felt that those days that look like they're perfect for picnics are some of the worst fishing conditions you're gonna find. But there's always a way to catch fish, to trick them into getting a few bites, and you as the angler just have to figure that out. Come here, buddy. He hit it on the fall. Whoa. He's a mean one. I like mean ones when they're green this time of the year. They get a little mean. He's not as... Come here, buddy. He liked what we were throwing there. You know, we've really actually been out here for about 3 hours. That's our first bite. Not a giant by any means, but you know, I've been struggling just to try to dial in on what to do. I've downsized to a very small Ruku shad, and hopefully we can figure something out in the backs of these pockets. I would think I should be able to catch quite a few right in this type of stuff. It just makes all the sense in the world. You know, the thing about Rayburn that I always tell myself in the back of my mind is they're biting somewhere, somehow, some way. And that window of time is gonna open for you if you just keep your head down and you throw high percentage baits in high percentage places. You know, Rayburn is one of these bodies of water that when you find them, it's not uncommon to get a lot of bites really quick in a certain area. So when I'm fishing over on Rayburn, I always have that mindset. I'm always looking for the Holy Grail. I'm always looking for a big school. I'm always looking for the right spot. And I'm also often rotating my baits. Now, when I have a high bluebird sky or a situation like I know the fish are not gonna be super aggressive in the wintertime, I will slow down. But the rest of the time, I wanna take the fight to them until I can get a bite. There's one. Never got the hook in this one either. He's starting to go pretty good one here. It's a 3 or 4 pounder here. He came way out in the middle of the drain. A lot of these other ones I've been catching. Oh yeah, that's the size you're looking for right there. That's the size you're looking for right there. A little better. He came more out in the middle of the drain. A lot of these other ones have been coming kind of in between the... I'm gonna take you back to the back here where I can belly lift you. He came more out in the middle of the drain, which is big old female was probably sitting out there on that hay grass. I'm gonna let this one go.
After the break, we go back out to Sam Rayburn, this time with Tour Pro Mark Daniels Jr., targeting pre-spawn bass up shallow.
For 50 years, Ranger has led the way in innovative, high-performance designs, and we're raising the bar again with a bold new flagship line, the Ranger Z Comanche L Series. These rigs are custom crafted with a passion for perfection and loaded with more features and advantages to deliver domination at every level. The next generation Ranger L Series. Celebrate a legacy, 50 years in the making.
The key to a great boating experience has the Yamaha name on it. It's your key to legendary reliability. Right now, during the Yamaha Key to Reliability sales event, purchase any qualifying Yamaha outboard and exercise your power of choice between 5 years of Yamaha warranty protection or up to $1,500 in Yamaha dealer credit. The key to reliability is now your key to a great deal on a Yamaha outboard. Yamaha. Reliability starts here.
The Fisherman's Handbook is brought to you in part by Garmin. Fight your fish, not your fish finder. Sunline America. The strength to guarantee your confidence. Bradley Smoker. Food smoking made easy. And Engel Coolers. A legend in reliability. Welcome back to the Fisherman's Handbook. In today's episode, Wade is sharing insight and tips on his favorite lakes to fish in East Texas. Before the break, Wade highlighted Sam Rayburn Reservoir and emphasized how in the early spring, on this particular body of water, one can get rich quickly if you find an active school of fish. We take a look now at another trip towards the first part of the year on Sam Rayburn. This time, Wade's joined by Bassmaster Elite Series Pro Mark Daniels Jr. With the fish in a pre-spawn pattern and cloudy, windy conditions, the two anglers are in search of one little clue to help get them dialed in on some hungry fish.
Bitty guy, he'd been there the whole time.
Nice, nice. On the board, Wade.
Yeah, not a giant, but like I said, every bite counts in my book. Future Rayburn 9-pounder.
Anytime you're fishing these lakes, even if you're familiar with them, you know, it's always amazing how immediately you want to fish history. You know, I've caught them in this area before, doing this, doing that, but it's always amazing how more times than not you're going to end up catching them on something new, trying something new, and learning as you go. And that's one of the things I really enjoy about bass fishing, is because it's really never the same. Sure, we have baits and techniques that we have had success with. Every time you hit the water, it's a new experience, it's a new challenge, it's another victory, and you learn something. You never stop learning.
Fish on. Chatterbaiter.
Little sucker. Yeah, he crushed that thing too.
I like it when they crush it, because those are the ones that hook themselves.
They hook themselves real good.
I like that when they do that.
He got himself some. Little buck bass, a little red in his eyes. Where's your girlfriend at, buddy?
You know, up in the deer stand, one thing about it is that I can remember from years of fishing it, there's always going to be some fish moving up shallow that time of the year. We're kind of in that early spring, water temperature is just creeping into the 60s. I keep thinking we're going to hook a few big ones. We've caught quite a few fish now on a trick stick and some other soft plastics, and the wind's blowing down a bank we've already fished, and I keep thinking to myself, I need to go down that bank, because I've had great experience on that bank in the past. And Mark picks up you know, a swim jig basically, and he starts throwing it out there and getting some bites. Got him?
No.
Good one?
Not that good. He just mad.
They're all mad. Like it. I'm on a moving bait. We just hadn't seen a lot of that today.
There's your pre-spawn.
There she is.
Fat girl, right there.
I mean, that just makes all the sense in the world.
Pre-spawn, healthy. Out here getting that last snack before she go drop those eggs. Thank you, sweetheart.
I noticed when we came through here earlier, I was looking at the mapping, and I could see like just all the different colors where we had a little edge coming up here. That's why I wanted to come back through here. You caught that fish right where all those colors come together on the depth shading.
That's awesome, right
Now
there on
we're
that break.
Top of it. Yeah.
Started to put a little piece of the puzzle together, let the wind kind of be our friend technique, and started picking up some moving baits, some vibrating jigs, and we caught a few nice fish. Wade lost a really nice one. But you know, that's part of it, but you know, just that one indication, noticing the wind, noticing the water temp, which stage the fish should be in, just that one little piece of the puzzle led us into catching several bass. So paying attention can be really key. Yes. He ate that thing deep.
And I was hung and popped, and right that sucker popped out of there. He said, "Dinner time!" That looks like filet mignon, guys. Let me in.
I'm gonna have me a piece of that.
Next on the Fisherman's Handbook, topwater fishing can be one of the most exciting ways to catch fish. Find out which technique Wade prefers when fishing flooded vegetation.
Engel's got the original high-performance cooler and a whole lot more. Engel coolers, go with the original.
At Sawyer, we use the best technology to make simple products that keep you going regardless of your journey. So whether you're boating, hiking, fishing, camping, or hunting, we keep you outdoors with a full lineup of products to both protect you and make the outdoors more enjoyable. Sawyer, we keep you outdoors.
The Fisherman's Handbook is brought to you in part by Gill Technical Fishing Gear, Power Pole Shallow Water Anchor, swift, silent, secure, and Spro Sports Professionals.
You know, we spent a lot of time looking at Rayburn and Toledo in today's show and showing you some fairly cold weather, tough fishing conditions as far as I'm concerned. A lot of high bluebird skies, bundled up like bank robbers, you know, gloves on, jackets on, all the Gore-Tex on, got the guide wear on, insulated underwear, trying to keep everything warm. But one of the things about Rayburn that we cannot dismiss is the opportunities when that water gets high and the temperatures get up and those fish get in that inside grass line. You know, Rayburn is famous for having what a lot of people will call hay grass. And just inside that hay grass, a lot of times when water comes up, those fish will spawn. And when they do that, and they're moving into the post spawn, it can be some of the best times of the year to take a hollow body frog like the Spro spit and shad or a bait similar to that and throw it in that inside grass line and hold on. Yeah, that might have been a keeper, I don't think so. It's so fun to do when you can throw that thing down there. You just think it's gonna be a 9-pounder every time, and sometimes it is. Sometimes it's just a bass, but I tell you what, never gets old when you get one like that to blow up on a frog. He choked the old frog. When you look at the designs on these hollow body frogs that Spro's come out with, Dean Rojas, the master of frog fishing, in my opinion, has designed several different sizes of bait, several different styles of bait to be able to make it adaptable for you as a fisherman to fish situations exactly like this. Let's learn from Dean a little bit more about the Spro spit and shad now.
Hey folks, Dean Rojas here, and I'm hanging out with my best friend in a beautiful backdrop. It's got frog written all over it. Well, this is the new spit shad we came out with last year and is becoming one of my favorite baits to throw in so many different circumstances. And what's so great about it and what's different from it from our poppin' frog and our regular bronzeye is our cup lip, but we also have a release here on the bottom of the bait itself. Now this in itself will help the frog come through the pads 10 times better than our poppin' frog, and will create just as much commotion as our 65 bronzeye. So when you can build something that's in between two great baits, you're gonna build one that's even better than the ones before. And the great thing about it too, we have the inline tails in the back, which creates less friction in the back, which loosens up the back end, makes it walk so good. Especially when you're fishing around sparse vegetation where you have holes in the grass and you wanna get it next to a piece of cover, it has ideal walking power. And the cup itself, it spits water. It's a different sound. It's different than the chugging. It's different than everything else that's on the market. So be looking for it, the Spro Spit and Shad, at all your great retail markets.
That'll do it for the Cabela's Fisherman's Handbook. We'll see you next time.
God, I thought that fish may be the fastest fish alive.
Dude, it was.
That's the Usain Bolt of fish.
Many said that we were just obsessed when we started, that there had to be an easier way to smoke food. As time passed, the Bradley family created a lineup of Bradley electric smokers that has made it easier for the novice or even expert chef to get perfect results every time they use it. Grab yourself a Bradley smoker and take your cooking to an all-new level.
From the makers of Bubba Blade comes the Bubba Blade Fishing Pliers. No matter where you're headed to fish, this tool will become an integral part of your tackle box for many years to come. They feature our patented no-slip grip handles, just like our Bubba Blade knives, ensuring that this tool will stay firmly anchored in your hand. In addition to the handles, these pliers feature a super tough cobalt cutter and convenient split shot and leader sleeve crimping cutouts. The ultimate in control, strength, and durability. Bubba Blade.
Hobie kayaks provide the ultimate lightweight fishing platforms that will offer anyone what they want when it comes time to hit the water. Hobie Kayak's commitment to innovation, quality, and owner satisfaction is unparalleled in the industry. So when it's time for you to go kayaking, remember there's only one name to remember, and that's Hobie Kayak.
Here at Big Bite Baits, we've got a big line of different plastics, and they're all a tool, so you want to have them with you all the time.
I made several checks in crowded areas flipping that right there. Just a 6-inch Big Bite Creetail worm.
Here at Big Bite, we came out with 4 brand new colors this year. All 4 of these colors are going to be great fish catching baits. Definitely my #1 go-to bait that Big Bite has out right now is the Big Bite Battle Bug.
Big Bite is leading the way when it comes to innovation and colors.
When I talk about Sunline, I think of one word: confidence.
Sunline FX2 is what I use for all of my frogging and flipping.
S61 braid, which braid plays a big part in fishing line.
Shooter, I'm going to use in those close quarter deals like flipping and pitching.
One of my favorite techniques in fishing the tournament trail is to fish offshore ledges.
We have taken the questions out of the equation.
Take my word for it. It works. It works, dude.